Here we are, the short video overview of Unit 7, themed on space and the universe. Before I get into it, I just want to say this unit is a collection of 3 activities that are really meant to achieve the performance expectations and inspire awe. There's lots of hooks, beautiful pictures, really well-produced videos. So we want to get students excited about this stuff. All right, so there are 3 performance expectations: universal gravity, looking at orbits in our solar system, and then looking at the evidence for the Big Bang. All right, so I'll take each of these. Here's Halley's Comet. Ideally, there's a lot of flexibility. This does not have to come at the end of the year. So these are 3 two-day activities. So if you have 2 days before winter break, you can do Halley's Comet, or you could do any one of the 3. They do have an ideal placement though. So Halley's Comet being about universal gravity, it is optimally placed after Unit 4, where they've learned about forces. With that, it is themed on Halley's Comet. So we got one of the first pictures of Halley's Comet, its return, really high quality image of its return in 1986. And then Hubble took a picture of it back in 2003 when it was pretty far out there. All right, after data mining, they realize and find the pattern with it is inverse square. Maybe you could call it inversely quadratic, because when the distance doubles, the gravity quarters. So doubling the distance makes the gravity 4 times in the opposite, inversely proportional direction. So good explanation. There's some reason data discussion goes well. So they arrive at that new pattern. Then looking at orbital motion. Here, this ideally comes after Halley's Comet, but maybe you don't have time for it, so you're going to put this one in. And again, ideally, it would come after Unit 3 because of the cross-cutting concept energy. So let's take a peek at that. So here's a great demo, really easy, well, a little bit definitely doable to make it yourself, or you can just buy it. There's some notes in the teacher calendar. That's a really fun activity and demonstration or interaction because students are up there doing it. Then they get into the teacher desmos and they're just looking at that motion and starting to put energy analysis to it. So just like they do in Unit 3, and this is interactive and they set this, and of course energy is conserved. There's a lot of good stuff there. Ultimately, we do get to Kepler's law, and you can tell I'm in the middle of this activity. So there's a lot going on here. But in any case, the evidence statements call for Kepler's law. So we use cross-cutting concept energy, but then through building graph literacy, get them to Kepler's laws. That final activity, super high interest, looking at the evidence of the Big Bang. There's, this is themed on stations. So there are 10 stations, again, great videos. Each time they're watching videos or interacting with you as the teacher, they watch and draw and then respond. And then also, because this is zero, everyone's doing it and kind of kickstarts all the other stations. They take data on galaxies and the distance and the relative velocity. How do we do that? Well, we have just these simple pieces of paper printed with a beautiful picture on front. Really try to get color if you can. And then on the back, they have to measure the distance. So they're still doing some actual measurement, and then they get information on the redshift and the relative velocity. So how would you set this up? So here's some, if you can get outside, that's of course really awesome. And so if you can get out to a football field, the exact measurements are on this link down here, and you can put some on like a ladder, some on a chair to get a little 3-dimensional aspect to it. Likewise, if you aren't able to get outside, you can do a similar setup in your own classroom. Again, the exact measurements are linked here. So that is a great fun day, and so many questions that are coming up, students thinking about different things with space and the universe. Okay, so there is 10 and each station is actually pretty good. And some real highlights, though, is the James Webb Telescope. So learning some of the background on that, James Webb Telescope's putting out images all the time. So students know about it. And if they don't, we certainly want them to. So again, great station, and just makes for a great couple of days. And then it, again, culminates with them creating an argument for evidence of the Big Bang. one last thing is that all three of these activities are such a good fertile ground for cultivating the cross-cutting concept. So we literally see all 7 cross-cutting concepts very clearly in this unit. So that's a great opportunity to take advantage of. All right, that is the short overview of Unit 7.